Good morning, THEDAS. We are back. We have returned. From the ashes arises a new one. Today, I am accompanied by. I can always laugh at my own jokes. I'm too fucking funny for my own good. At least to myself. I mean, come on. Today, I am accompanied by my wonderful, wonderful guests. First, we have Aaron.
Hi.
Our wonderful lore master who's in taking care of the podcast lately with Hala. And next we have Nimble.
Hi.
And of course, coming back, making her beautiful return to the land is our...
Makes it sound like I'm some promised... like I'm some prophecy or something.
You are. The prophecy was revealed to me long ago that you would return and bring prosperity throughout the podcast. Welcome.
Prosperity.
Welcome back, Luna.
Hello. Thank you.
All right. Well, as usual for the past few podcasts, I've been having Aaron and Hala run things a bit. So we're going to be continuing that. And Aaron, I'll let you take it away.
Thanks. So, like the other podcast, we're gonna try to this time comparing to the other one, we're gonna keep it short, and we're gonna go with the questions to guide our thoughts, like once again. So we're gonna go with the first one. Oh yeah, we are talking about Archdemon and Darkspawn. I forgot.
It's all good, don't worry. Yeah, that's the topic for this week. The Darkspawn and the Archdemons and the Blight.
DA4 theories.
Yeah, DA4 and things going on with the Blight and such. Go ahead.
So the first question this time will be, do you think there's a link between the old gods and the Veilguard, making link with the previous podcast?
I wasn't in the previous podcast.
Well, you don't have to be into it. You can still answer. What do you think? Who wants to go first? You guys want me to go? You guys want to go? I'll go.
Wow, silence.
What do I think is the link between the old gods and the Evanuris? I don't think there's any, like, literal connection. Maybe the old gods were also shitty, scummy elves. The jackasses, the opposite. I mean, even worse than the Evanuris, I guess. Or perhaps they were like just grand spirits that the Evanuris had to cast out or hide somewhere or something along those lines. That's pretty much the only like thought that I have, but I haven't like done too much delving down into it as of late. So, I think they're probably either also some kind of weird, scummy elf jackasses, or they're some kind of grand spirits. I think it's more like that they're just some kind of grand spirits, not some kind of weird elves that turned into dragons. But, yeah, I think that's basically all connection that there is, that the Evanuris probably cast them down for being some kind of evil spirits. What do you guys think? Nimble, you want to go next? Give Luna time to think.
Okay, so I don't think it's gonna be connected. I connected because I don't want every single thing to be connected to the elves, like everything. Which I know there's a lot that will be connected to the elves now that like Inquisition happened and everything, and like more is becoming clear. But I honestly would rather it be connected to Tevinter, kind of like how the Architect was a Magister and Corypheus was a Magister, or like, you know, first known. And I think it would be a neat idea, like, maybe not like Magisters being trapped in dragons, but more so like a spell gone wrong or something like that caused the whole old gods and then they got trapped in the dragons.
This is going off to a beautiful start.
Yeah.
All right, Luna, you go ahead. What's on your mind?
So I think I agree. I don't think the old gods and the Evanuris are the same thing. And I also am inclined to believe there's not even a link. I think I agree that the old gods probably are more of a Tevinter thing, and then obviously the Evanuris is to do with the elves. And I also agree that I don't want everything to be based on the elves, because I really enjoy the elven lore and stuff, but like I think there'd be a risk of too much elven stuff going on in this game. So yeah, I would prefer it if the old gods weren't the Evanuris. Yeah,
You are
so...
wonderful.
I'm one of
Yeah,
those
it's
guys
just-
that's
it's
like,
just
give
too
me
much.
more elf.
Yeah, see, I mean, I get it, like, because they're interesting, and and some of their culture and some of their religion I find really interesting. So I'm okay with the fact there's elves at all, but what I wouldn't want is for elves to link everything. Yeah, I as someone who doesn't ever play an elf play a character, or I would much prefer to have pockets of culture and religion for different races. So yeah, quite happy for them not to be the old gods and the Evanuris the same thing. Yeah, but I get why people would like for that, and I get why people find evidence of that. But yeah, I don't think it is the same thing or linked.
Yeah, I definitely I play as like 90% of the time I play as an elf.
Same.
I know some people
Gotcha.
do. That's totally fine, of course.
Oh, no, I'm just saying I do like all elves, and then I'll have like one Canary and one human, and I can't
I think
do dwarf ever because every time I romance somebody, I'm like, it feels weird. I'm too short.
Too tiny. I
Oh,
mostly
yeah.
play as humans, so
Me too. See, that's probably why we both feel that way.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, Aaron, do you want to go ahead?
Well, after I researched for the podcast, I actually changed my mind a bit.
Ah,
Because I used to think they were the Evanuris, but for some of them I managed to find like old god equal Evanuris. So
mm-hmm.
okay, I see some link, like for example Dumat and Ergonon being the kings of both their factions, but there's some of them that don't align.
Mm-hmm.
The timeline seems, thanks to Word of Status 1, but the timeline seems fine with the fact that they could be the same. But I'm wondering if it's just not like the dragon being the dragon form of the Evanuris without a spirit, if I'm clear.
Mm-hmm.
Like just an empty shell woke up by...
I see. So maybe like the Evanuris are sending down or animating the dragons. The
Well-
dragons themselves are not.
Maybe the other way around. Like we knew that the Evanuris could turn into dragons, but what if they just took possession of a dragon? And without the Evanuris, then the dragons are more sensitive to magic from the Magisters and thus to Winter.
Oh.
Or maybe
Kind of like
possessed by
how
blighted spirit, since they're woke up by Darkspawn and by the Blight. They caused the Blight because they woke up by Darkspawn. So what if it's just empty shells woke up like this and maybe just turned and blighted?
kind of like how the veil is thinner in some areas.
Yeah, because even Solus seemed pretty saying that the Evanuris weren't the cause of the Blight, like not entirely. So I'm just wondering if, since the numbers seems to be the same, like the number of Evanuris locked away and the number of Archdemon, I'm kind of good with the idea that like what we know as the Archdemon, so the big dragon, are actually just dragon and their spirit blighted. So I think there's a link for the origin of the body, but not the entire thing anymore.
That's definitely an interesting thought. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, even if I like the elves and the lore, it would be nice to see that it's not 100% because the elves and because Solus did this, then the blight started. Like it could have
Yeah.
helped, but what if it was just a pure accident, and there was something else?
Accidents are totally fine. I can live with accidents as
Yeah.
long as it's not like, oh, the elves caused this specifically to happen.
I just at the point with like the story and the lore that like if it's anything but the elves, I'm gonna be like, well, that's a surprise. I just expect it to be the elves at this point.
Like that's
I
why
wanted to-
expect some link, but not the entire thing to be this.
Yeah. All right.
There's such a
Alright.
thing as too much when you have the Kinari and the dwarves and the humans and so much
And-
history.
Yeah. Like I get that it could be easier to link to one thing, but it would be
God, my
cool
throat.
to just mix things up and to actually show that THEDAS is more complicated than that.
Exactly.
Alright, so is everybody good to go for the second question?
I am.
Yeah, sure.
And do you believe the architect when it says that the Darkspawn are victim of the calling themselves?
So, my thing with the architect, and this might be pretty controversial, is I love him.
Oh, I do too.
Okay. Okay. I'm glad that I'm supported here. I'm glad I'm among like-minded intellectuals.
I kept him alive. I was just like, yep.
So the Darkspawn are like his children, and he is such a good boy. I like to think that the architect is in me, or in that meme where he's like, "You've done nothing wrong ever." Yeah. Do I believe that the Darkspawns are victims of the calling? Yes. I think that if given the opportunity, I think the architect can free them all, and then we'd have a new cool race. Just like, that's normal. I mean, they still spread the blight like crazy, and you don't want them in your towns and shit. But if he could, if he could free them, like he did the other ones in Awakening, that would be beautiful. I would love that. That'd be such a cool twist to the Dragon Age world, to have them all be freed of the like horrible curse, and then they could all just divide up those underground kingdoms between them and the dwarves, and that's my beautiful, wonderful world in my mind of
I
how
love
we
that so
we
much.
all coexist together in peace and harmony.
I don't think that'll happen.
Definitely not. But I would.
It's Dragon Age. That it never goes that nicely.
I mean, we also got to think about the third group of people that need to take up a big chunk of the underground, and that's the lizard people. Bring them in.
I want.
They're still
Yes,
out there.
please!
They're still out there in
I want the lizard
Bioware.
people.
Give me my lizard people. I need
This
it.
is what I want.
Podcast.
I try to mention them as often as possible, because maybe one day I'll be given what I want. Just give
I
me.
want to know so bad what they are and what they like. If they.
They're still
you
out
know,
there.
yes.
Heroes.
They're still out there somewhere. I just want them.
Who's next?
Me.
Go.
I guess. Okay, I absolutely believe that that the Darkspawns are victims, and I actually have like the same thought process as Ethan for the most part. But what I also would rather like think would happen is if enough of the Darkspawn get freed. They're also working with, like we saw in Awakening, we saw that they are kind of working with the Grey Wardens, and then in Dragon Age 2, Nathaniel actually says, hey, Wardens are living in very strange times, and kind of shows like a little bit of a glimpse of Awakening that they might be talking to Darkspawn.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I think what would be really cool is if enough Darkspawn got freed and had their own free will, if they were working with the Grey Wardens, or if there was some kind of civil war with the Darkspawn that can't be saved, and like you have these, like the good Darkspawn, which you know they're good but blighted, but then the really bad Darkspawn that are just mindless. And I think it would be a very interesting premise if you had the Darkspawn working with the Grey Wardens, or enough of them working for themselves to stop the other Darkspawn, because you know they do want to live,
Yeah.
or to work towards destroying the old gods themselves. So maybe that they can get more Darkspawn free, because that's what that they're basically mindless towards, is that voice and the calling and the old gods calling them and controlling them.
So basically, Elton the Grey Warden like ending this shit.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with Ethan on that. It would be really interesting having that, or the lizard people come back and like having or be introduced and having that as a race, because having more races introduced is really fun for like, you know, choices and story and things like that.
Mhm.
Also, just to quote Rowan, broodmother romance.
Oh no.
Jesus.
Oh. Gives them their health.
That's beautiful. Love is love. Yes.
Love is love.
Oh god.
Oh God. All right, Luna, you are up.
Okay, so I think we're all in agreement that the Darkspawn are the victims of the calling. I really enjoyed. When I read the calling, as in the book. I really enjoyed that insight into the Darkspawn origins, and I hadn't actually, because I was plagued with technological issues when I tried to play Origins. So I literally did the base game, completed it, and never touched it again because I just couldn't get it to run. So I've never actually played Awakening. So the first time I met the Architect was in The Calling, and I really loved his character, and I would love to see a similar, sentient Darkspawn character in Dragon Age 4. That would be, I think, a really unique and interesting perspective to see the world from. And yeah, when they were talking about the Grey Wardens, and I can never remember character names, but the Grey Wardens in that book and how they're turning, but they're kind of losing that sense of themselves at the same time.
That
I
book
could
was so
definitely
good.
see that every single Grey Warden who has succumbed to the calling has become a Darkspawn. I think that totally makes sense.
Ooh, creepy.
Yeah, I think yeah. I think I wonder if that will be explored more in DA4 maybe. I don't know how they would do it. If I was them and I wanted to confirm that theory, for example, if we were fighting Darkspawn and we spotted like Grey Warden armor on them or something like that, and then if we are ourselves a Grey Warden, we're thinking like, oh my god, I can't fight this Darkspawn. He is a fallen brother or something of the Grey Warden. So yeah, that's quite an interesting idea. But yeah, I think I don't think much of what the Architect said was wrong. I got the impression from his character in the book that most of what he said was correct, or he wasn't trying to subvert any expectations or mislead. I think when he says the Darkspawn were victims of the calling, I totally believe him. I don't see any motive for him to lie. Say him like it's like, I think it's supposed to be it, but like, I don't know why. I don't know if it's confirmed that he's male, but to me, I don't know why, but to me he's male. But
It seems pretty.
I really like that thought process, to be honest, because
Yeah.
I never thought of the Grey Wardens becoming Darkspawn. Like, I thought they just went
really?
and died.
Oh no, they
no.
definitely.
So in my mind, they yeah. I don't know if this was in the calling or if this is just my head.
I mean, no,
bridging the
it's
gap, but-
it's in the calling a bit because I can't remember his name. What's
See it really calling.
the brother? The brother. He's
Yeah, the brother, because he's basically
come on.
become one.
I don't
When-
know
by the time
why
she
I
sees
wanted-
him.
Oh, I don't have his name. I have the sister.
I
don't
keep
have
wanting to
the
call him
brother.
Brejic, but I know that's not him. I'm pretty sure it's a Star Wars character.
Genevieve and oh gosh, I don't have them.
I'm typing it there now. You're gonna hear me clacking.
But we have, for
Clicky
example,
clack.
the dwarven woman like Utha.
Yeah. Oh
Still being the architect.
God, that
in
game,
the book.
that book, it's so
Bregan? Is that
fucking
his name?
beautiful, huh?
Yeah, so Genevieve's brother Bregan.
Bregan. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I was close. I said
So
Brejic.
I'm pretty sure when Genevieve sees him for the first time, it says something like his lips have receded past his teeth and
Oh
he
yeah.
looks more like a corpse and a skeleton than a man.
Yep.
Something like that is coming to mind. So I'm pretty sure it's almost confirmed that when Grey Wardens go to die, in fact, and I think what is quite a tragic twist is that they become the things that they've lived to destroy. Which I think is really miserable for them.
Oh yeah.
See,
So the
I
calling
never,
for me was like really powerful for that reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never read The Calling, to be honest.
Oh my
Oh.
God, do it.
You should.
I listened to the
So
audiobook
good.
when I went to work. I would go into work and I'd listen to the audiobook until I finished it, and oh my God, I don't know like what David Gator decided to, or Gator, I don't know how people say it different ways. Gator. Just like find a way to get him to write more books, please. Like just do it. I need him back in my life. David, whatever. David, please make more books.
Mr. Gator.
That's all I want.
You actually helped me a lot with what you said, Luna, because that was exactly my thought too. Because what the Warden do when they hear the calling is go and die. They usually try to get killed by Darkspawn before turning.
Yeah. So
And
for
I-
me, like when I was reading the calling, the architect was talking about how the Darkspawn follow a song or something like
Yeah.
that, and they will
Yeah.
do what they're told because they're told to by some voice. And it was my opinion that what the Darkspawn were
That's
hearing was the calling.
Oh yeah.
It's
And-
the same calling.
And that
To
just
me,
like
it's-
when I read that, and it just gave me goosebumps because I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, like they are hearing the Darkspawn calling, and it's getting louder the closer they are to death.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I think as to who the Darkspawn.
It's
I
like-
think yeah,
The thing that's like triggers the Grey Wardens to go to their death is what the Darkspawn are hearing all the time.
exactly.
Well, yeah, I
And-
knew that one.
Yeah. I was just saying it.
Well,
I just didn't
it
think-
might be the same one. I think it might be the same one because they're drinking Darkspawn blood.
Yeah, it's definitely the same one. I feel like that's always been like a definite.
Yeah,
and-
that's definite.
Yeah.
Someone mentions that, and I can't remember who.
Yeah, that's the only definite I
It's
knew. I
in
didn't
the-
know about any of the other
I think
stuff.
it's in the last flight, right? Because the
Oh my god,
everyone
last.
starts to hear it, don't they? Even the Griffons start to respond to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an
So
amazing
basically,
book as well.
so basically anything affected can.
Any living
Yeah.
being.
Hear it.
Yeah. Oh,
So in theory, if you were saying like if the architect decided to just let the Darkspawn loose, or if they were let loose by whoever controls them, there is a possibility that whatever is calling the Grey Wardens, I think, because Alistair talks about how the calling is getting louder in Inquisition,
mhm.
Yeah.
and there is a potential, I think, for Grey Wardens to be turned on living and to be used as the thrall of whoever controls the Darkspawn by virtue of that call. Sort of, it's almost like blood magic, and they will be controlled and you know at the whim of whoever controlled the Darkspawn, which could be quite intense because it would mean, you know, Grey Wardens killing each other, or kind of like the scenes we got in Inquisition, but maybe on a larger scale.
Yeah.
Especially now
Should
that
be
the
pretty
Grey
sad.
Wardens are already divided now.
Yeah.
Right.
Because we know about the
Yeah.
civil war among them, and like to me, the architect spoke the truth. Like he knows what it is because he saw it and lived it. Because he's one of the first Darkspawns. But I'm pretty sure that, and that's something we can see in the last flight a bit. Because so I don't know. Did one of you let their warden die in Dragon Age Origins?
Never.
No, I refuse.
Never.
No, nobody can do that. Nobody.
No.
My Warden and Morgan live happily ever after, and that is final.
And mine and Alistair live happily ever after.
My warden and Alistair are both wardens still, but so maybe someone who listens can say that in the comment. Maybe if you're listening to this point, maybe because I'm really curious about if you take the Orlesian commander, if the Orlesian commander still go on the quest for the cure.
You know,
Is
I
that
am.
Oh.
Because to me, in the last flight, so we know that they didn't say who was commander. They just said that the commander was dismissed of their function. So the commander we had in Awakening and until Inquisition isn't the commander anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Well, I mean,
So I'm wondering if they
yeah.
found out that the First Warden knew about the calling and what the Darkspawn really was, or were, like that. They are wardens. Like we are killing each other, and we also know that brood mothers are issues from living being, like Kunar. I don't know if we know about any Kunari.
Definitely
brood mother yet.
dwarves, and for sure.
But yeah, we know that we saw humans, dwarven and elven ones, and we know what kind of darkspawn. I don't have all the names in mind right now, but they gave birth to all the kind of darkspawns.
Mhm.
So we know that they were living beings at some points. So
Right.
maybe
I wonder
they're
if
wardens.
the female wardens would become like
Yeah.
brood mothers. and then
Then I
used just
think
for
we-
mating
Most-
and reproduction.
Oh,
Yeah, most
I
likely.
think we saw that in Inquisition.
my
Inquisition
question
Awakening.
is, so you're talking about how the Darkspawn were living at one point, right? That's what you were
Yeah.
saying, correct?
Yes and no.
If-
The
okay.
mother could also give
True.
birth, so they were born Darkspawn to start with those ones.
Okay, so if the Grey Wardens find the cure and it works,
They
could
could
it
say
turn
that.
off the calling for the Darkspawn?
That's what I'm wondering, and I'm wondering if it's not the reason why Weishaupt decided to demote the warden looking for the cure again. I don't know if the Orlesian one looks for the cure, but
Right.
that would basically say that the first warden tried to shut this warden up, and that would also explain what they said in Inquisition. Hey, the Orlesian commander, can you please take care of the Ferelden one? That would explain why everybody went into the command of the Orlesian one, because I found that pretty odd. Like, they already have a commander. Like, what do you give it to Chlorel? That doesn't make any sense. And that would also explain the civil war between them.
Mm.
So I hope we can save them and maybe avoid the architect doing what he's doing. Because since the warden are hearing the calling, I'm not sure it's the answer to use the blood of a warden with that.
Oh, I know.
I was just googling pictures of Dragon Age 4 just in the context of the podcast, just because I wanted to see what we'd seen for Darkspawn.
Yeah.
I guess it probably relates to the Blight, which is probably maybe going to be discussed later. But I'm pretty sure we're going to get a lot of these questions answered in DA4.
Yay!
There is I think there's 2 Blights happening at the same time in
Yeah.
DA4.
There's been a lot of speculation about that.
Well, based on that
Two-headed
promo art
dragon.
with the 2 dragons.
Also,
Well, yeah, that too. Yeah, yeah.
I'm also wondering if the red lyrium darkspawn isn't something to control the darkspawn again, since maybe they're becoming more sentient or more free. So maybe
Yeah,
control them
maybe.
again with blighted lyrium.
I wondered if they were being used as a weapon. Because I don't know if you can hear me flicking through, but I read Dark Fortress 3 a couple of weeks ago, which talks obviously about red lyrium and how to enthrall using red lyrium, and it made me think about this concept art we've seen, and I wonder if the red lyrium, in the way it's used in the comic book, which is basically, as I say, to create a living weapon, maybe it's being used for that reason with the Darkspawn. But by who, I don't know. But
yeah, because I think I said that in the previous podcast. But to me, since the sarcophagus seems to work only on elves, that might have been what June, the god of craft, used to create weapon out of people. So maybe they found a way to do that too for Darkspawn and have an army at their service. That would be kind of cool. Like, we can't have only elves, then let's use Darkspawn. That would be kind of interesting, actually.
like an army that has no fear of death and
Yeah.
doesn't question orders.
Aaron, you're always really good at bringing out the really interesting ideas that I'm just like, I would never in a million years think that.
You know what? It's because I'm maybe a little bit too obsessed with those books and stories. I
Little
love
bit.
lore. I thrive for good lore,
So-
and when I found Dragon Age, I found the best thing I could do because I have no answer to everything.
Erin's just sitting at her desk, scratching at her wrist. I can stop whenever I want to. Yeah.
But that's why I never played
Never.
session during I never played Dragon Age during exam session because I'm like, shit, I have no life.
Oh,
Time to
God.
study, no games.
It's too late. If I start Dragon Age, it's too late. Okay, so let's go with this one. I think this one's gonna be quick because it's where do you think the remaining Archdemon might be?
There's
In the deep
two
roads.
left, right?
In the deep roads.
There's 2 left, right?
Yeah.
All right. I have a couple of really some cool ideas. So the first one is pretty plain. I'm thinking somewhere in the deep roads underneath Tevinter.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty basic.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's pretty basic and probably a easy one. However, I have 2 other ones that I think are really cool.
Great.
All right. Now, picture this. Underneath the fortress of Weishaupt, the entire time,
Yes.
entire time, there was one directly beneath Weishaupt. And
so cool.
there's, yes, and it's just, imagine the fucking chaos.
That would be awesome.
Imagine how insane that would be.
And can you imagine if this is from, like, we're gonna go, like, really stretch the theory, but that could be how they control wardens somehow.
Possibly, yeah. That could, if to roll into the other theory, perhaps that could be involved in some way for sure. I think that just how crazy would it be, where it's like underneath the Grey Warden, just home. There we were the whole time, just waiting.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That'd be fucking sweet. All right, and now my third idea. Just another one that's pretty fucking sweet. There's, again, deep roads, but underneath Arlathan.
Ooh.
Oh.
I by the way, it took everything I had not to say Arlathan. I know everybody hates it when I say that, but that's how they say it in Dragon Age Origins, damn it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think underneath Arlathan is a really cool idea of like where would another archdemon be. I think that's a very cool, interesting idea.
Oh, that would be cool indeed.
Yeah, what do you think, Nimble?
I think I really like your ideas so much that I don't want to. But I think one thing that would be devastating, because I know we're not going to Ferelden. Well, actually, okay, it kind of seems like we might be doing something in Ferelden again in DA4, but I think it would be really interesting and horrible if there's another one under Ferelden.
just
Like,
fuck this country in particular.
Yes! Because it's had so much stuff happen to it. Like, here, let's kill Redcliffe. Oh, okay, there was a Blight. Now, Tevinter's taking over. Now, Corypheus is just like, grr.
It's just under Redcliffe, like, fuck this place. Just.
Yes!
And,
Oh my god!
fucking-
Specifically under Redcliffe, too, just like, poof, castle blows up. I am here.
Murdoch is still there, and he's like, damn you!
Like, Thrymia, you messed up. I'm gonna do it.
Oh god. Other than that, I think strategy wise, like I don't know if like the old gods have strategy, but like the Anderfells might be a good idea too, because there aren't many there, so it'd be harder to track.
Mm.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I like it. I like, I also,
Just Redcliffe explosion.
that's like that's my new favorite one. Just, everything happens at Redcliffe. Just fuck this place in particular. Yeah.
Yes.
Luna, what are you thinking? Where do you think they might be hiding?
So I've just been like furiously typing just so I can get an idea of where we've had blights before, like where archdemons have come out before. And I'm still furiously typing.
It's okay.
So any help on that score would be extremely helpful.
Yeah, I know. Wasn't the one from the the last flight, that was more north, right? Like
Antiva, right?
Antiva, like Antiva, Ravane,
Yeah.
that kind of area.
Yeah. So they've had one up there. We've had Ferelden at least once, if not twice.
Yeah.
We had Orlais for sure.
Orlais, yes.
I
Yep,
think we
Orlais
had
was one.
Orlais.
Yep. I'm pretty sure Orlais was definitely one of them.
So
I
it does
think-
make sense then for them to hit Anderfells. And I was just thinking back to Horrors of Hormak. And I know it's not an archdemon that they find in that book,
Yeah.
but they do find untold, I mean, horrors is in the title, I suppose, in the Navaran forest.
Yeah.
So I am wondering if I were to plant, if we assume maybe the archdemons have been put in strategic places, as you say, if you wanted one in sort of every region, then I think Navarra is a pretty good candidate for one, as well as the Anderfells. Do we know why the Grey Wardens established, like, of all the places they could have chosen in THEDAS, why they chose Weishaupt?
Isn't there like wasn't there like, I could be wrong here because my memory is ass. But wasn't it because it was like a really bad place for them at one point? Like there was a lot of darkspawn there at one point.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong about that.
Oh, yeah. So it says that during the first Blight, it was chosen as a base, and it was not as hard hit by the Darkspawn as other locations, but strategically close to Tevinter.
Yeah, so because there's a lot
Also
of it.
besieged during the second Blight.
Okay, so I was close. So isn't that there was a bunch that it was like there was a bunch near.
It was the
that's
opposite.
Like, yeah, there was a bunch near around them, not at that place. So it was close, but opposite.
But yeah, so going back to the question of like where are they? I think underground definitely. And I would say in different places, but you mentioned that we saw in some concept art, you know, that we've got what looks like a two-headed dragon, but actually it could just be two dragons.
Yeah.
I remember for the for Dragon Age 4 promo, we had some art of kind of hard to explain. So the Dreadwolf is coming down onto, I think it's supposed to be Arlathan, and he's got those blue eyes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know that one? And he's got two old gods side by side. They're facing down, and I think that means we're looking at two old gods coming up in Dragon Age 4, and I think that would explain why almost every single piece of footage or concept art we've seen so far has got a ton of red lyrium and blight.
That's one.
Because I think they both come up at the same time. So I don't think they're in the same place, but I think they both arise at the same time.
That would also explain why we seem to see a lot of location so far in the concept art.
Yeah. So I'm thinking like, because I would say from the stuff we've seen, there's definitely a playable Grey Warden, whether that's part of our origin story or some sort of side thing.
Talking about the guy from the video, from the trailer.
Davrin.
Yeah, Warden Davrin.
Yeah, so there's him as well, and then there's also in the last tease we saw there was like footage of our legs.
Oh
in
yes.
what looked like the desert, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
there's lots of and in some of the behind the scenes technical footage of them, you know, animating attacks and defenses. They always use a Grey Warden.
Oh my god, I love that look.
For it. So yeah, well, it does. He looks cool. Right?
I just want them to keep that angle, the third person angle, like they had it for Inquisition before they changed it. But I hope they keep it. I like the way it looks. Sorry, I cut you off.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I much prefer over the shoulder than especially like I don't like first person.
Yeah.
But yeah, that really works for me. But yeah, I think what we're going to be looking at is two archdemons rising at the same time, and us having to deal with both of those either simultaneously, or there'll be some strange time stuff happening in DA4. So I think that we've got this Weishaupt, Grey Warden, Blights happening over here. Oh my god, terrible times. And everyone's like, we haven't got time to worry about that. We've got our own Blight to worry about down in Tevinter. And it becomes like who do you what do you do? Like you just who do you try and kill first?
Imagine
yeah,
that.
That would be cool.
Just intent, like in the same way that the first Blight, what lasted for almost for generations. It's that kind of level of destruction where people just like, we don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah, just imagine like you have to like choose like which one you go after first, and by going by the other one, the other country gets fucked.
Oh,
Yeah, that'd be a really hard decision to make.
Yeah.
I wonder if, I mean, in game it'd be impossible to generate like sufficient consequences, but if you could choose that, that'd be really intense.
They
Yeah.
say we would
I
play a
definitely
lot
enjoy
with
it.
the lives of our companions, so maybe. We never know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
I feel like they're getting better at the whole choices thing.
Killing
So
us with
we'll
choices?
see.
Yeah.
Consequences, I don't know, but I do think that like they are getting slowly, like based on technology and everything, progressing to where you can make more choices.
I wonder if, because from what we've seen so far, of course, because it was right at the end of Trespasser, whether we decide to disband or not the Inquisition has yet to prove any consequence whatsoever. But I'm wondering if one of the first few decisions we have to make in DA4 is dictated by what we decided in Trespasser. So if we do have something terrible happening in Neanderthals and Tevinter at the same time, perhaps if we kept the Inquisition, we could have dealt with that. If we split it, we've got to choose because we can't get organised fast enough, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Which would be
I
a
get
really
it.
interesting way of tying in that decision into the really early stages of Dragon Age 4.
That just popped a really cool idea into my head. Of you know how at the beginning of every BioWare game you're given two kind of like cookie cutter companions like right off the bat.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
here are your two plain people, and then they'll probably die or they'll eventually get better. But what I just thought of, all right, so let's say we go off that, like your choices in Trespasser affect DA4. Let's say DA4 starts, and you're given your cookie cutter companion, and let's say he's an elf, and because you did not disband, he betrays you like right off the bat,
And we're Fenwell.
and he's working for Fenrir. Or let's say that you did not keep. Let's say you did disband, right? And then he can show up as a companion later on in the game for completely different reasons, or he's just never there.
Makes sense.
I like the thought
Yeah.
of it being like,
That would actually-
because of the decision that you made in the last game, he's either a companion right off the gate and he's your buddy, and then he betrays you later on in the game, or early in the game or something. There's some type of betrayal. Or
Yeah.
later on in the game, you meet him for totally different circumstances, and you still ends up betraying you anyway.
Yeah, I
Right.
really like the idea of that sort of continuity, just for that decision to mean something. Because
Yeah.
I always worry that some of the stuff we decide in these games just never really matters.
Yeah,
So
I-
it would be good
What-
if that was.
like
I
like
think that-
I was gonna say like when you're in the Dragon Age Keep, and it's like, okay, why did you give me an option to choose whether the lady takes over the tavern or not in Redcliffe or not? Why is that even there?
yeah, there's some decision. I don't understand why they're there, but like
Maybe it's just so the option is just in case they feel like putting in.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
You're probably right.
Did you know that in DA4, if you made that woman the owner of that tavern, she makes a giant fast food chain of taverns, and they're all over Tevinter. People love it.
and they're called the Wardens, the Wardens Fair, the Warden's Lair or something.
Yeah,
the
they-
Wardens gave them the
They
opportunity.
make really great ale.
That would be cool, but yeah. I agree with you, Luna, that I wish it could mean something what we did in Inquisition, especially Trespasser, because holy fuck the lore in this thing. But
I feel like they're gonna have to. It's like it. I feel like they're gonna have to make some consequences because there were so many decisions in Inquisition that if they didn't, a lot of people would be disappointed.
especially
Yeah.
big decisions, like you cannot... Well, I can understand the difficulty to do this, actually, but those kind of big decisions, not including them is dangerous.
Yes.
Because it's gonna be complicated to not include that in lore.
Yeah.
As for what I think about the Locktar's demon, I kind of like the idea of why stopped, but
Right?
if I remember correctly, DA Awakening, it hinted that it was going towards the Enderfell.
Mhm.
Like it must seem to brew a little bit in the Enderfell, so it would make sense.
Woohoo!
There.
My theory's right. No, I'm kidding.
We will kind of say Enderfell because it would be so ironic to say, "Hey, Wardens again!"
Yeah.
Oh shit! Especially with the state of the Wardens right now.
Yeah.
Ferelden.
Tevinter is also a very good option, especially with all the things we had in Tevinter Nights. With we're trying to invoke something great from below Minrathus. I'm like, no, stop it, stop doing that.
Stop
I
doing
want
that.
a
Nope.
dragon
Nope.
here.
There's no artifacts.
And we also saw in Inquisition something in the Western approach.
Hmm.
Did we?
Yeah, I think it's called the Ancient Warden Logbook or something. And
Right.
they were kind of hinting that there were a prison somewhere here.
Oh.
Or maybe an ancient prison. They didn't say if it's an ancient prison. or a new
Okay.
one.
I remember that.
So I know there's something here linked to an archdemon, but I'm not 100% sure.
Maybe it
It's
could
one of
be.
the last ones.
Maybe it could be another like Grey Warden Corypheus prison.
Maybe.
That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering about the first Darkspawn, and you did a pretty good transition there, Ethan, because it's the next
Wow.
Look at
Because the
me.
next question and last one is, do you think we'll meet a new first Darkspawn in Dragon Age 4?
I'm gonna say most definitely, 100%, without a
Yeah.
doubt. There's no way that we aren't. I mean, if we don't, I'll be extremely surprised. And I also think that we will also get an appearance from the Architect if you let him live. There's also the
Yes.
possibility that maybe the Architect has similar powers to Corypheus, and maybe after you slay him, he went over somebody else.
Possible.
Ooh, I
th-
like that idea.
There's always that possibility that one of those non-choices, like, did you kill him or did you not kill him? Well, he's alive anyway. Because, games love to do that. But honestly,
Yeah.
like, that's one of the things that wouldn't I wouldn't be upset by that, mostly because now there's lore reasons for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always possible that perhaps the architect survives no matter what. So he'll show up and there'll be a new guy as well, because there was a good amount of magisters that went into the the old Fade. So I imagine that we'll definitely get at least one, if not multiple.
Well,
yeah.
2 out of 7, so.
Yeah, I have a very high percentage over here. I think it's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
What do you think, Nimble?
I think so too. My biggest thing is it going to be an ally or a foe? The architect actually was kind of an ally in Awakening if you didn't, kill him. And Perseus was like a big foe, so it's going to be maybe like if you killed the architect, there'll be two new ones. Two new first Darkspawn, and one will be a foe, one will be an ally. Or if you left the architect alive, you'll have one ally, the architect, and one new first Darkspawn, the foe. Like they did in certain things, like when you choose your Grave Warden in Inquisition, Stroud, Logain, or Alistair. So.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I kind of like that too.
Luna, what do you think?
I think I agree. It's kind of difficult because the architect is, to my mind anyway, quite similar to Corypheus. So I don't think I'd necessarily want to see another I don't want to see another Corypheus, because I feel like there's only so many, like, I'm doing this for my power and glory bad guys that will keep you entertained, right? At least the architect had kind of interesting... it wasn't even motivations, because he wasn't really doing anything. It was just doing what he should be doing, which is to further the Darkspawn.
He's so well
but I do think, yeah, I know.
I love
wish
that.
I
He's
was
so
as eloquent as him.
eloquent. This is beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. I do think we're going to get answers about what happened when the Magisters entered the Golden City, and I think as part of that, the truth of it will either come directly from a first Darkspawn, or we will maybe seek one out. I'm not sure, but I do think we're going to get answers in DA4 on that, because it's going to have to tie into if and when Solus decides to tear down the Veil. I'm sure it's going to have repercussions with regard to the Black City, the Golden City, and we might have to figure out, what happened to the Black City will happen to everywhere else, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think we have to, if not meet one, then certainly learn of more of them, what happened to the others. Because I think of the original 7, we've only really known about 2.
Yep.
Which is obviously like Corypheus and the Architect. So, there's obviously 5 we don't know that much about.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of that, especially if they're all as wonderful as the Architect. So
we just sound like Architect fanboys.
He's just so cool.
No.
He's so cool.
I think his coolness is linked to what he was, because so I had to do a lot of research for this again, but like we know the Architect is the Magister who entered the Fate, right? Who broke into the Golden City.
Yeah.
And he was the Architect of works of beauty, like very specific. So that's why he's called the Architect. We don't have his name, but we know he was therefore the Magister for Euthremiel, and for Corypheus, the fact that he's so eager for power, let's say, is because he was the conductor of Dumat. Like, Dumat is the king. He doesn't care about anything. Like, even in the old gods lore, he's the worst. Like, he's the big dude, and I think he was the first Blight, so the big one. So it kind of makes sense that Corypheus was an asshole, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I really like your idea to see another one, Luna, telling us everything. And we still need to see the Watchman of Lusakan, which is one of the remaining Archdemon, and the Ogre of Razikale, which could be good. Because when you say Ogre, I think about what we knew in Joseph Hakon. Like, I definitely see the Avar, like an Avar guy calling for Razikale. We have the Madman of Zazikel,
Wasn't
but Madman?
wasn't
No, I don't
Rezakel
have
the one that we already had?
No, we had the Thremiel.
Oh, Arthemiel.
And
Yeah,
Razikale.
yes, yeah. Okay.
And Razikale, I think, is the. I'm not saying any stupidity right now, is it? No, Razikale is the only known female of the old gods, which is weird because dragons are always female. I don't really understand the gender thing in the dragons. But, like, I think this one, like the Ogre of Razikale, would be logical since it's also one of the Archimon we need to see. And we also have the Forged Rite of Thoth. I don't know how to pronounce the thing. But this one could be good too. But yeah, I think we're definitely gonna see another one. And probably telling us what to do to stop this, because I'm not sure whatever the plan that Fenrir has is, that's gonna end up bad. Like, of course, because when Fenrir is in control, it's just gonna go boom.
Boom.
Yeah, so I think that's interesting because, if Lusakan and Razikale are the only dragons we have, the only old gods we haven't seen yet rise, I think it makes sense to encounter I don't know, their Magister equivalents, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just really reading about Lusakan, and Lusakan is actually worshipped by some in the Tevinter Imperium, and there's actually a temple to them, to her, I think, in Minrathos, which is interesting because we know we're going there. So, so I wonder if
Yeah.
that means that Lusakan is a good candidate for one of the old gods we'll see.
That would be.
And interestingly, actually, they're called the Dragon of Night, and I feel like we've had teaser trailers talk about how it's going to be like a permanent night or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
the
it's
eclipse
interesting.
thing.
Yeah, yeah,
Eclipse
exactly.
everywhere.
Eclipses are everywhere, right? Like in all of the concept art, we've got the sun being eclipsed. It'd be interesting if the Dragon of Night is the one that rises in Dragon Age 4. One
Ooh,
of the
that'd be an
two.
interesting.
Well,
If it wasn't like if that's what it was referring to rather than the
Mm.
name reference, I would actually enjoy that.
that would be cool because, like, the two remaining ones are night and mystery, and that's a perfect combo. Like the night everywhere and the mystery rising to what's happening. So that would be pretty cool to see. Even
And the mystery of
to-
like dealing with the trickster god as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Never
would be so
knowing really
cool.
what's going on.
Any other like things y'all want to bring up since that was the final question?
I only have one more thing.
All right, what's up?
Go.
The Darkspawn having red lyrium infused is amazing and terrifying. And I like the whole I'm really enjoying the thought of the lyrium, the red lyrium, because it was expecting the Templars and Inquisition now spreading in the deep roads and starting to affect Darkspawn.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool image when they show it in the art and in the videos that they've been showing.
And boom, link to the idol.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I've got.
Okay.
Yeah,
Luna?
because I wonder if you're the person who wields the idol, I wonder if you wield the power over the Darkspawn, which is maybe why, maybe that's why Fenrir was so keen to get it into Winter Nights. Maybe he
God.
knows that it can
Oh,
be
God.
used to control Darkspawn.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
To what
was
end, I'm
thinking-
not sure, because I can't see how that would help him in his quest to restore the elves and all of that.
I was thinking it just held so much power, like the orb did, that he's trying to find something with enough power that he can tear the veil down with.
I want to save you, Solus, but I don't know about Fenrir.
Sorry, apologies. Stop. Okay, you're good.
I am very very much excited to see possibly a bigger explanation of Solus and his weird relationship with like the Blight. and like Grey Wardens and all things to do with the Blight, because he's like very like he's got some weird feelings on it. I just want to hear more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I mean that's my closing idea on the Blight and for today's topic. Aaron, do you have anything else you'd like to throw out there before we close up?
I think the blights will kill us all in Dragon Age 4. That's all. I'm gonna deal with this shit.
All
Yes,
right.
this is it. The
I
last
just
game.
noticed actually because
You
I was
don't
just
win.
I've been like googling in the background trying to refresh my memory as to what we've seen, and you guys have mentioned like in this podcast the what looks like a two-headed dragon to represent two archdemons rising at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just occurred to me that the only three characters that aren't Darkspawn in that artwork is a Tevinter Mage, an Antivan Crow, and a Grey Warden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were saying about how it's probably focusing on Tevinter and the Anderfels, and I think that's probably good evidence of that as well.
Yeah.
That and also it kind of gives the idea of more evidence of there's going to be factions.
And origin
If you
stories,
could recruit
baby.
them all, that'd be so good.
Yes.
If your role is to get them all working together, like Mance Raider with the clan style,
Hell yeah.
unite everyone against this like common enemy, that'd be amazing. That would
I
give
also
me
just feel
goosebumps.
like it would be interesting if you start out in one faction, like this is where you were at during all this.
I want
and
to
then
be a Grey
you-
Warden again so bad.
I want to play as
Oh,
a
that'd be
pro. I love
great.
it.
Just
I
like
wanna
minding
be
your
a
own
pro.
business in Antiva or something, and then at the same time, whoever's in advice helps having a really hard time of it.
We will have
Yeah.
an entire podcast on the Crow, but for what we know in Tevinter, that won't be nice. We won't just be hanging on Antiva hoping for nothing to happen.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I just need something at EA Play because I'm going.
I said, don't worry. 1
Uh,
month.
A little bit
Crazy.
crazy. All of us are.
We're gonna
I'm
get
gonna
something.
I'm gonna print.
In my mind, it's confirmed. Like I just know.
Yeah, yeah.
I
It's
just know it.
intuition.
I think it's just going to be either we're going to get finally a name of the game
Uh-huh.
or it's going to be an actual trailer. Like, I'm hoping it's an actual trailer. We'll
With the
see.
name.
Yeah, I say I'm
With
sure
the
if we get a
name.
trailer, we're
Yes.
gonna get the name too. Like we're definitely
Yes.
getting the name no matter what. I think.
Yeah, I think the name's happening no matter what, but I am hoping for a trailer with the name.
Maybe some cool cinematics. I'll always be like slightly upset that we didn't get that cool scene from the Dragon Age Inquisition trailer where Cassandra's
Oh my god,
like,
I know.
"You did this!" and got the knife to your throat, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I can't wait to play that part." And then it never showed up. That was really sad.
This is why we should always take these
Or
things with a
like
pinch
the
of salt.
gameplay of you lighting the boats on fire and you being
Oh,
stuck in mud. I'm like,
That's
so good.
all everything that was taken away. But
Yes.
that brings me back to what I was saying earlier. That the more over the shoulder looking gameplay that they took out of Inquisition, and then they put it in DA4, at least in those background test footages. Like
That would be
I just
wonderful.
want it back. I love the way that it looks. It looks so good.
I know.
Just give it to me, please. I'll do anything.
And then the choices that they made, like with that gameplay, like, oh hey, you can,
also,
and they will all die.
I don't know if it was just me, but I feel like the graphics looked better in that too.
They did.
think-
They always look. They're always really good at the E3 gameplays, and then they downgrade a little bit.
What they showed is actually footage from the engine. If the new Frostbite engine can give me that, because the only thing they gave us is new hair, work in the engine. I'm like,
It
I
better
want
look
this.
as gorgeous as they show, and I need it.
They better.
Yes.
And I think they improved the engine. They had the time for this, and if they did, I think the game's gonna be awesome. We're gonna have an ensign Blight.
The most gorgeous blight you've
Handsome
ever
blight.
seen.
Wow, the
Swear-
majestic, sexy beast of a blight.
It's wearing a little bow tie. It's looking so cute.
we're all gonna die, but at least we're gonna look fabulous.
As we
That's a
should.
fucking
Dorian
I'm
approved.
pretty sure. That's a Dorian quote.
Oh god. All right. Well, my now we've given all our closing questions and stuff like that. One last closing statement from me, at least, is give me more gorgeous beards and hairs, and that is it. Just so I can see all the beautiful chunks of dead darkspawn in them.
Give me my Dorian, that's all I want.
Give me a Varric romance.
Luna, closing statement.
I just need Dragon Age 4 now.
Encapsulating
I hope-
everything.
Yeah, I really want them to go more into the lore and the Golden City and all of that stuff. I'm less interested in the Solus stuff. I'm controversial, I know. Less interested
that
in the
makes
Solus
sense.
aspect, but more interested in the lore and the world of THEDAS and the people in it. So yeah, I really want to see more of who we will be and where we'll be going in DA4. And I tweeted the other day. I said this is positive as hell, but I am calling it now. We're getting a release date next month. I stand by that.
Ooh.
I
That'll
stand
be
by it.
interesting.
I think we're going to get a release, even if it's just. I think it's going to be fall 2022
Oh yeah.
or following spring.
Oh
I feel
my
like
God,
they'll
that'd
give
be
us-
So good.
I feel like they're going to give us something.
I'm gonna be mean, and I'm gonna counter that with fall 2023.
Oh
I
my
would
God.
cry.
It's gonna be
But I
either
would be okay with it.
either fall 2023 or like midway
End
2023. I don't think 2022 is in the cards. I would love it to be. I think it's 2023.
I am an
Oh.
ambitious optimist.
I will
I believe.
I will believe that
Ugh.
I believe that I want you to be right.
Well, I believed it. Well, I was fairly confident until it was like March time or February time.
Mhm.
EA confirmed that they decided very recently not to make it live service.
Yes.
I was like, oh
Yeah.
god.
They're like, we decided that due to other games doing really well,
Yeah.
we're gonna stop being dumbasses.
I was
like-
like, that means
I
you're
was just
developing
like,
it again
oh.
from scratch. Like, so
What's
everything
the
you've done in
reason?
the last 5 years is like in the can. It's just, yeah. So
All-
that was a blow.
I don't think it was like everything. I think it was just like the multiplayer aspects are getting taken
Yeah,
out.
but apparently it was supposed to be pretty like weaved in.
Yeah. If it was inside the game, that would have been like pretty big. To
Yeah.
correct.
I would have been mad. I would have been so mad.
My heart hurts as a programming student to
Alright,
think you have
but-
to redo the whole thing.
Yeah.
All right,
Nobody wants this. Like none of the fans want this to be integrated multiplayer.
I'm
I don't
gonna.
mind a multiplayer.
I got
but-
another massive controversial statement. They said that they were
Love it.
considering drop-in, drop-out co-op. That's the one thing I want. That's the one I want for all my fucking Bioware games. Like,
I am totally fine with that.
if-
Like
I just want somebody to be able to play as my companion, just so I can not even on my first playthrough. That's like my second, third playthrough. I want to play with friends. You guys could be my companions while I play or something. Just like that's it. That's all I want. I'd be happy.
No, I would be totally for that. Kind of like how Fable does it. They do it
Exactly.
very well.
Yes. Just like that. That's all I want.
They did it also in. It's gonna be Ubisoft game, but Assassin's Unity did that. Like you have certain missions inside the French Brotherhood, playing with your friends. I'm like, that's very clever.
Yeah, but I'm talking like full-on integration with the campaign. The way that they do it in that game is like they're tiny little missions off by itself. I'm talking like
Yeah, but-
full-on integration.
Like that was a while ago, so I understand why
Yeah.
they did it like this. But the idea of doing that with your friends, I'm like, come on, give me this.
All right.
Yeah, no,
We-
it's like the forced multiplayer that I don't
Yeah.
enjoy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the microtransaction-filled force shit.
I was gonna say they're talking about EA here, so
Exactly. That's the thing.
never say never.
Yeah.
Loot boxes in Dragon Age.
Woo.
Killer Dragon
What's
Age
that?
with
You want to unlock Dorian with his actual mustache? $10.
You want to fight this dragon? $20.
You want to end the game? $30.
You wait a second. You just pressed the start button and you did not give me 50 cents. Cough it up.
You have to pay a subscription, $30 a month, or we'll delete your keep.
Oh no. Oh my
man.
god. All right. Well, I think that's a beautiful note to leave off on. Thank you all for being here and spending this time with me to make this little tiny show of ours. I appreciate the three of you very much. And I couldn't be more happy that we were all here together to make this. So thank you guys.
Aw,
Thank
thank you for
Aw.
inviting us.
Thank you for having us.
And thank you everybody who watches on YouTube, who listens on Spotify, Anchor, all those other platforms. I appreciate you very much. and we cannot wait to make another one, and we cannot wait to see you guys next time. See you later, Thedas.